I've got values. They stack up nicely. Loyalty isn't earned, it's bought.
An enemy has been slain.
I need this split push. We need that Infernal too, actually.
Honor is the rust on a dull blade. The only thing I look up to is the sky.
Actually, have my flash in 2 minutes. My burn should last long enough, right? Man, why are they not just pressuring? Hurry up!
Easy pay.
What are we waiting so long for? Zoe can just clear mid.
Heroes go hungry. I'll fight for a cause. I won't die for one. Laws are whatever works at the time. I make my own fortune.
Your turret
Get
and
paid
summoner
and get
has
out.
reconnected.
You can't tame the desert.
I don't know why I use my flash here.
I've got values.
Doesn't even matter.
Loyalty. It's bought.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Wealth is my kind of burden. Honor is the rust on a dull blade. The only thing I will cut from the sky.
Right, you want to it real quick?
You're worth my time. Dead.
So much, and it's like no points. Every 2 seconds,
Everyone has a
it's blown by, like,
price.
1 billion.
Gold stays. It's not stealing if they're dead. Get out.
Wait, sounds so fast. Oh, it's doing.
Honor is the rust on a dull.
Wait, you also destroyed it now, right? Never mind.
The only thing I look up to. Heroes go hungry. Laws or whatever works.
What is that? Why is it so small? How can it actually carry the whole weight? Carl's big.
I make my own fortune.
Hey, hell, you're a little kid compared to that. Oh, there's two.
I go where the trouble is. Get paid and get out.
Dragon actually gave up.
I've got value. They stack up nicely.
I don't want to be first pick, to be honest with you. I'll have a counter pick.
Loyalty isn't earned.
My team is
It's
not playing
bought.
enough, so I'm just gonna pick Irelia. Wonderful.
Luck is my kind of bird.
Maged up, dude.
It's the rust on a dull blade.
Dance. Whatever, man. freaking dare. Yo, scammers, man. This
You've got a
company's scammer.
problem. I've got a price. Everyone.
I keep thinking, stupid ass Yasuo. And Yasuo is just strong into 80 carries. Actually, Blitz R would be so OP when he's full AP. Like you just steal it and then press it and then boom. Scanning up. It's not gonna do much.
It's not stealing if they're dead.
Let's see. There's an execute range, it doesn't matter.
I make my own fortune.
You know how rare it is for every killing your ass unless you like are on Evelyn or Blitzcrank or something.
Get paid, get out.
You can just do one mana. You have one versus the
You can't take the desert. I've got values. Hold it nicely. Loyalty isn't earned. Wealth is my kind of burden.
Really, actually, oh wow!
Honor is the rust. I look up to is the sky. I'll fight for a cause. Die for one.
So bad. And if he does, he's gonna die.
Laws are what.
Quickly before.
Aced.
If you gotta see, I wouldn't be able to do that, obviously.
You can't tame the desert.
Ooh, it actually just flashed. Oh my gosh. Wait, they're actually clean.
I've got that.
Your turret has been destroyed. Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
Nice, Jin doesn't either.
Your turret has been destroyed.
I kind of want to stop with the Silas. He actually uses gonna have my conquer till the end right there though. Wow, he actually got you. What the hell did they get Ocean Red? Fuck me, what am I doing? Actually not that fast ago.
You can't cage me for long.
Mic muted. Feels bad. Hello. Mic muted. Look at that stupid ass HP! You're muted, dude. Yo! Shut up! Why are you guys working together like this? I just say your debated dumbass emote and get done with it already. I know it's unmuted.
Balance of power must be preserved.
Oh no. That was so bad from everyone. Holy shit. The Viking could have survived if she just went back. I got the tower, fourth. Whew. Dude, their ball actually has been roaming so much this game, and they can't get anything with it. It's hella nice. There's no way he one-on-ones me with the mana items I have. He has Conquer stack though, that's the only thing. Wait, this matchup is so one-sided. Motherfucker's 1-6. And he does that much of my health bar. But it's okay, I'm better in team fights. I'm actually... Majority of the times I haven't lost this matchup from Aurelia's side, but from Jack's side I can easily win. So it's actually not too bad.
Remember what's been lost. Fight for what hasn't been.
Their entire team is just gonna pass there. Okay. Come on, why'd you say? Actually, no, I didn't. He's 1 health, dude. I wanted him to hold down the jacks before he gets to me fast. I should get my ninja talisman actually.
The summoner's rift.
Or did I do this? I took 1 down with me. Jax is kind of back in the game now. 1k gold, yay.
Minions spawn.
Fantastic. I'm still ahead, but we'll see how the 1-on-1 plays out. The champion counters me, but still, I have big items on him. If I have my conquer stack first though, I should win. Yeah, the item difference is too huge right now still. And 2 levels. There's no way he wins 1-on-1. It has to be 2v1. He's got his conquer first though. Not bad, dude. Not bad. Flip that one, actually. Where is my Q? Okay, we gotta get this place before Baron comes. Go. Oh, he's dead. Why does this guy keep using his E like that? I wish he wasn't there so I could cue the melee minion first. Okay, this is right. I could get here actually. Ooh, wait a sec. Really? What is this? How many fucking people are still here? The entire team is here. Ooh, get there. Yo, Baron healed up. Yo, you dumb motherfucker, Baron. He's smited and Baron healed like 200 HP. Oh, they theft. Let's go! Nice! We did it, boys. Another one. Yeah, we'll give it to him. Alright, I'll be right back quick. I use all day. In League of Legends, I cannot play League of Legends. I have to pay. Proper healthcare is far away. Guessed it right, I'm from NA. Dumbass. Do you see any... Like, let me get this right actually. Let me make myself think before I talk about this. Alright, you. You understand that there's no NA imports anywhere, right? We don't send our players in any other region because we are the best region. Every other region has to come to us. They want to learn from us. They want to adapt to our playstyle. Do you see one single NA player in Korea? No. How many Koreans are in NA? A lot. How many EU players are in NA? A lot. A single NA player in their region? No. We don't need to. We're the best region. We don't need their practice. Ours not just make it better at whatever game there is. So. You making fun of NA cannot be true. Right? Makes sense. It's logical. There. I said it. Come on. It's logical facts. You can't argue with facts. Should we do a Earth game? Or like a couple of Earth games before we quit this stream? Or end it? Because the garbage LCS is, I mean, the EU LCS is on. Yes, no, yes, yes. Alright, well, I guess that's it. Let's do Earth for the rest of the day. Like 2 hours.
Greetings to my brother Raj
We ended
999.
100 ranks up. Not bad, right? 100 ranks. It's just the LP game is insane right now. So I gain a lot on this a little bit. Yo, Jero, thanks for the sub 6 months. Appreciate it. Welcome back. Alright. Is ASIC here? Who's here? Wicked is here. Come on. I see Heisendon too. We need some players to Earth. Azap. You're not from NA. Yo, Nashim, what's up? Do you have an NA account? What's your NA account? Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Alright, go on your NA account, bro. Go, 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 go. Let's go, let's go. Give me a username. as a V2. Invite me to Blade?
Shut down.
70 TF Blade when it's bonus free. Pepping off. Yo, you should actually say that to Mo.
An enemy has been slain.
It would be accurate for Mo. For me, not so much. I'm big man. Big man Blade. Oh, by the way, you guys, time to sell out. Hold on a sec. You guys have been asking me about the merch. You know, we still have merch, right? Just like, let me show you real quick. All you do is scroll down. Merch. Boom. All the designs are still here, but like different colors. I'm using this one right now. But yeah, there's actually, I need new designs. These face designs are actually not too good, because why would you wear someone's face on your shirt if it's not yourself? I think they got lazy with these designs. We're gonna get new ones. I'll talk to them. Just like scrap these and then get new ones. I actually like this one though, the thicky one. But yeah. Alright, I officially sold out. Easy. I hate sellout. It's the hardest thing. No thanks. It doesn't matter, I just want to sell it out fast. Now I got rid of it. Why is he not joining me? Yeah. Oh. Action Muslim. Wait here, great. I want a hoodie. You are a hoodie. Ooh. Drop me. Okay, wait, let's see. Let me see if there's anyone else that we could get on to play. Oh, is there any YouTube videos out too? You know what? We can watch that too. What is this? What the fuck is this? Disgusting. Holy shit, yo, that's scary. Wait, let me see if there are any videos out. Get played. Yee! They should be out anytime now. It's fine. Alright, invite me.
You are null and void.
Let me lower the volume. Hello? Did you say anything or was someone else? Okay, no. Never mind. That was someone else. Invite all. Dude, you guys suck. I don't trust you guys. Alright. You guys are gonna... No. I can't be voice comms with you guys. 70% are trolling. What the hell? I need real players. Invite me, I was Manny. I don't want to get played. Okay. Since when am I the flamer and you're the victim? It's always been me being victim and you being the flamer. No? You ask anyone. That's the case. Do a sub game. Yeah, as long as you subs talk, we'll be good. Alright, give me username. Actually 3 people, because Azak is joining too. Give me subs. But talk. Don't be boring. Yo, Sparky plays. Thanks for the sub, appreciate it, welcome to the stream. Get shot.
Justice will be served.
I'm doing first Lee I see. Wait, I did it twice. Yo, kinda cool. Sexual Sub, Michelle, welcome to the stream. And Fighter Boys 935 Sexual Sub as well. My Raging Penner, Sexual Sub too. Appreciate boys, welcome to the stream. Look at these guys. Is it Azul here too? Oh. I'm writing it wrong. I lost his username already. Oh, it's double P. Hold on a sec, actually. Yo, Kin State. Thanks for a brand new sub. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Oh, there it is. He's going.
Yo! Anyone in here? Voice.
Oh, yo. What up?
Hey, what's up?
Yo, your mic.
Hey, am I using good mic or scuffed mic?
No, it's good, it's good. It's just high volume. Holy shit, it scared the fuck out of me.
Sorry for my 3 minutes Bosnian internet.
No, it's okay, it's okay. Dude, we should go 4 man, let's go. Can't find the 5th one. Oh, you got a room, wait. I got one. Where's Master Find? What's his username? Alright, there we go. We're 5 man now.
Hell yeah. Disclaimer, I have like 150 ping over here, but
Dude,
it's enough for a name, right?
you got into down. Yo, how you doing, buddy? Yo, I'm mid lane, bro.
What?
Look at this! Look at this goofy shit!
Can I get Zereth? Can I get Zereth? It's my second main.
Wait, re-roll one time always. Actually,
I'll reroll twice, then I'll get Zereth. Just so you guys can pick whatever you want.
dude, what is this champ? Oof.
Nico?
Yeah, should be broken in this game, right?
I don't know about broken, but we'll
Yeah, you can spam EQ constantly.
Is that OP? I have no idea.
I think it is. Wait, does your Q proc on like rates? Does it triple proc or no? Or is it only on champions that it triple procs?
Anyone know?
No idea.
Only one way, dude. We'll find out. I swear the computer does so slow on anything every time.
Yeah, but 150.
Oh, okay.
Usually, on a good day.
Dude, we're against
Wait,
John Wick.
Oh, it's over.
Run. That's so much CC, whoa. Run.
Yo, wait, where's Bosnia? Is that like in Russia or something? Like, where's that?
No, it's Balkan.
Balkan?
Yeah. I mean, you guys probably know it by wars, right?
What?
Balkan.
Balkan? Wait, I don't know where that is.
Do you guys have geography in your name? What the hell?
Yeah, good, dude. What do you
You're
mean?
making up names.
I know you guys, I know your states, man, but you guys don't know my country.
Dude, I'm googling Balkan and you're actually making that up. Where are you actually?
Dude, Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's the full name.
Oh, I've heard about that. Let's mention that.
Oh shit, yo, let's go, right
Right
down.
in the middle.
Like,
Dude, that's good. Oh my god, whoa, let's go.
You can actually go behind them. Kill this guy.
Oh,
I saw Q,
I'll
actually.
never see this coming. Yo,
I'll bait.
Oh, you're looking really sexy over there. Why don't you get merge with this bush? See what happens.
They should come, right? Where are they? Hands up! Oh shit!
Oh, there we go. There we go.
I don't think he's home. It's okay, he'll run out of mana eventually.
Yeah. He's zoom. Gank.
I can't. Wanna flush?
Yeah, I'm ready. Oh, what the fuck? He's psychopath!
Oh, get it.
Yo, okay, I'm going mid. Oh shit!
Yo, what happened to that?
Wait, is this ARAM? No? Fiddle!
Alright, we're going by call.
Was that silence? Yo, what is that fiddlesticks? Get out of my lane, guys. What is this?
Guys, I called this.
Fuck you! I called it first!
Call order, and I called first.
Call order! I am not fucking.
I mean, your name is Top King.
I'm bot now.
Oh, my top lane now.
Yo, my thing doesn't bounce twice. This sucks. It has to be a champion win. Yo, let's go. Oh, he bounced. Oh, you're going all the way. I like it. Let's go. Fuck that motherfucker up. Oh, reach!
Abusing broken mages.
Always.
Chinchin would be very pleased with you.
Oh my goodness, this guy's actually busting this game, man. I can't even play. I don't get why she does so much damage.
Yo!
No!
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Hey. Come on.
God, yeah. Nice.
Easy. Hit him.
Oh, nice. Whew.
Alright, I'm taking that mid lane. Someone died mid. My lane now.
Kaylin is fucking broken, bro. I cannoned to her and she trapped me, and then I died.
I took it. No, who's Jace? Get the fuck out! I'm taking it! No, everyone's here.
I think the Jace is RF legendary. Might have to go unfollow him on Twitter.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, why are you guys ARAM? What the hell?
I don't know. Report my team. I'm jungling, bro. Alright, I'm coming. This is free.
Oh, nice. Whew.
Oh, big flash. Damn, these guys are all flash.
Hit him with the flash.
Oh, you hit that, he's dead. Alright, GG. Is someone behind us? Holy shit, what is this guy?
Okay. Prediction.
That's the guy.
I can't even land anything.
Wait, why are you so good, man? What the hell?
I'm
Sham
flanking
is
them
broken,
in the bot
bro.
lane.
Everyone tells me, like, you just know how to play one champ. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's only Jax at this point.
Let's go.
Ooh, trackpad mechanic.
Hey,
Oh,
why
wait,
are
he can
you
trap me,
yoinking
that's-
all my kills, man. I'm supporting over here. What the hell?
You
Oh,
can't
nice.
cage
We
me
actually
for
blocked.
long.
Oh,
This is so fucking bullshit.
I know, Jace actually can do 10,000 keys. What's this, Sham?
Yeah, this is not
My
fair.
turn now in the mid lane.
Yeah, everyone's taking turns. Yo, I'm going up, dude.
See ya, boys.
Don't use this stupid ass slinger on whatever this shit is on Caitlyn. You can't do shit. It just traps you.
Oh my god, that play. $140 ping mechanics.
Do it on a trackpad. Then we'll start talking.
Whoa! What the fuck, that guy down? Yo, Brandon's smurfing here. Let's go. Let's see if actually someone jumps in. The sun is gonna come. Oh, this little bitch! Oh, no! Yo!
Oh, we got a smurfer on the Lysandra over here. Oh.
Hey, wait.
Oh
I'm
my
coming.
gosh, I don't even know what the fuck I did.
Watch out for Twitch.
Where's that Ratata?
Oh, that was aggressive. Thank you.
Wait, someone has to go bot lane, by the way.
Ah, shit.
What is this?
Team help!
Run, 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 run! You can't do it. I don't even, I'm not watching. Oh, you're doing it.
I'm coming.
Okay.
Ooh, not bad.
Like they still have mid-turn.
Yeah, they also have a Caitlyn here. We should do something about that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm back in, That's what I'm doing.
Oh man.
Sniping her as we speak.
Whoa, look at me!
I'm looking.
Did you see me in there? Literally just flying.
Nice.
Ooh. Gimme.
Yo, they'll never know. Who's the real one?
Just start walking at them
That-
without
that's
using
a-
abilities.
Yeah, just actually.
They got a dog behind us, boys.
Oh, what the fuck?
Okay.
That guy's lagging.
NA flash.
Yo!
Yo, not everyone on NA.
The Mad Lions, who knew that this team was intelligent with their macro play, so they shouldn't be completely outmaneuvered by some of the more advanced or veteran teams in the LEC. And in fact, you can see them here. They're responding perfectly on time for the Rift Herald. It does get its charge off, but not much else.
Definitely a few seconds off of that not happening. Good spot for G2. Perks just wreaking havoc in the mid lane on Ezreal, playing so confidently. Goes for the QSS. Not interested in any more damage, just wants to continue to be a nuisance. Does not want to get locked up by the Kennen or the LeBlanc, and Wonder is going to grab a tower on the bottom side. So remember, early in the game, about a 2k gold lead for SK. Now, 3k in the favor of G2, alongside those 3 towers and that mountain. G2 pretty much in complete control here. You can see the individual lane differences are actually pretty staggering outside of the top lane, where Warlib still holds on to that lead.
And the scary thing is going to be in 1 minute when the Infernal Drake decides to spawn. At this point, G2 are going to feel very confident fighting it. I expect them to roll into this area and kind of pick what monster objective are they going to set their vision over. Is it going to be the Baron? I doubt it. It's probably going to be the Infernal, and how punishing that will be on Perks' Ezreal, one of the 80 carries that maximizes the most out of that buff.
Miserable to play against a fed Ezreal. When he gets behind, no one cares. But when he's doing well, when he's got a 550 gold bounty, and you've now officially stacked up enough for the Muramana, does wreak havoc on the enemy bot line. They're donating the blue buff over to Perks. Nice enough not to take it away, or nice enough to give it to him instead of the Urgot. And I think Baron, crucial point now, cross current. Of course, it has changed on this patch, and I'm curious to see how that's going to affect G2's strategy.
It's a little bit weaker in the early game. Let's hold on, maybe a trap. doesn't connect.
Trap for that minion.
So the Baron buff, a bit weaker in the early game. It's still going to scale just as hard, and it's trying to give teams some advantage to fight back when they do lose control like this. So Riot trying to stop, or it feels like halt a little bit of the snowball game that we've seen dominate the 9.1 meta.
Is 9.2 going to be a different story, is the question. For now, focus on the Infernal Drake as G2, 5 members strong here. SK ready potentially for a fight if they want to kick it off. Kennen could come in on the backside, but very difficult to approach G2.
The question was always going to be, what would SK do when G2 were taking the Infernal? Maybe they look for a cheeky steal or something like that, but they should have traded some vision.
Now they're trying to set their sights on Yankos. 2 stacks going to look for the chain CC, trying to delete the jungler, but Mickey is off to the side.
Huge
Perks is
damage.
just 3 damage across the entire line. Here comes Whirlwind, but he might be a little bit too late. Now the Fear are going to get pulled back. They're just getting shredded. Not the engage SK wanted whatsoever.
The only silver lining for SK here is the fact that Selfmade's still alive, has Flash and the Smite. So as we see G2 turn towards the Baron, maybe there's a shot in hell, but frankly, SK might have just had the nail in the coffin there.
Yeah, they hammered it in themselves, sadly, and G2, apt to punish, going to continue chasing, trying to keep the jungler away. Perk trying to chase this one down. Selfmade trying to play ring around the Rosie, but they're not even focusing on the Baron anymore. He gets deleted. Free entry for G2. Whirlib, ultimate up and available. He needs to try to find something here, but Wonder's such a confident duelist at this point in the game. Perk's coming over the wall. Whirlib, all but guaranteed to die here. Here comes the ultimate running for his life. The flash! Within an inch of his life, Baron will fall in the favor of G2.
But that is just the consolation prize that SK get out with Whirlib's life. Like you're saying, the Baron over to G2. Yes, the Baron changes have gone on to 9.2. It's not as powerful as it once was, but SK, they're a little bit white knuckle right now. They really have to hang on because G2 are snowballing this game so far out of control. Just the damage that Ezreal ult did was disgusting.
I mean, if you're going to line up for Perks, he's going to happily take the shot, and sadly, this was all brought about on an SK engage. I have to wonder, why are they engaging on the Sejuani of all members? It feels like they just capitalized on the first opportunity they saw.
And I feel like the moment is that SK need to go back to this VOD, and when G2 walked to the Infernal, decide, what did we do with our time there? We were never going to be able to fight them. Why didn't we grab control over the vision around the Baron and the mid area to not fall into a flank like that?
Feels like desperation. Feels like they weren't entirely sure what they needed to be doing. But Pyrian now on the flank. Maybe they look for a little bit more here. Whirlip here as well. Holding off on the fight.
Here comes Whirlip.
Trying to pull back. That's going to be the Kennen ultimate. Does stun down. Perks instantly taken out. That's the shutdown. Maybe they can get a little bit more, but Caps is on the backside. He's rolling right in onto Crown Shot. The Urgot is just too strong at this point in the game. They cut through him all too easily, and Whirlip is running through the hills. G2, too strong in these fights.
Just the meat grinder right there. They walked it through, and with so many members down, I think G2 can actually just push for the win here.
And Wonder's just saying, you're not even going to get back to your base. You're going to spend the full 8 seconds backing. Inhibitor down, 4 members here in the mid lane. Only Perks dropped in the fight for 3 members of SK. Pyrian, 1 man versus the world, 1 LeBlanc, nonetheless trying to dash his way through. Cap flying in, ready to follow up here. Trying to take him down. CC does connect on the gravity field. They want to cut into LeBlanc. They are going to be able to take him down. The hook goes in onto Whirlip. That's going to be it. That is all she wrote. SK starting strong, but things potentially turning back. The wave crashes in. Dreams wants to keep this fight going. Knows that the longer it goes, the more likely it is to go in their team's favor. Crown Shot is here as well. Maybe this is the point to turn for SK. Crown Shot firing in. Gravity field not quite going to connect. Dreams, though, now caught out in no man's land. Backing off as Wonder goes on a killing spree. Funneling in one at a time. G2 now set their sights on the Nexus. Not a lot of hope left. The classic G2 maneuver, they move in. They're just looking to make these guys feel like they've lost it all. Crown Shot trying to flee, trying to get something back. Kicked into the team. They will get one, but G2 now realizing the end is in sight will just focus the Nexus and take down SK.
And it looked good for a moment for SK. Some of the kills going back and forth. The first blood into Pyrian, like, okay, maybe someone could go toe-to-toe with this G2 squad, but it felt like the game face turned on. Caps had a huge roam across the map and just single-handedly tipped the scales for every single lane. And then once G2 are ahead, they just smash you.
Absolutely the case. In a brutal circumstance for sure. You feel like there were sparks there from SK, but they could just never get a fire started. Not quite enough to swing things truly in their favor at any point.
I do feel like I want to compliment that SK felt, okay, this is our composition. We know that we need to go in. We know that we need these flanks with the Kennen ultimate. We're behind, but we must do something because we'll just get outscaled. So I like the fact that, yeah, maybe it felt like they threw because they lost so quickly, but they were just trying to be proactive. They were trying to make sense of, they're just going to win one way or another, or at some point in this game, let's see if we can turn it and make them lose. Let's see if we can outplay them on this team fight.
And hey, better to take the chance than to die slowly. We've seen plenty of teams do that up against G2. But they remain undefeated, 5-0 at the top of the LEC standings. An improvement, I think, from SK in some of the areas we were looking for. Saw more proactive plays in some of those key situations where we hadn't in past weeks.
Looked like they were trying to play around Pyrian. Felt like the game plan was, we're afraid of Caps, see if we can do the shutting down. Can't shut down Caps.
It does start to feel impossible when you see the XL game and now you see this game as well. But looking back, smiled across the faces of G2, feeling good as they move forward into the rest of the split. Have to wonder who can contest them. Maybe Misfits.
I mean, I think the most terrifying thing about G2
Maybe
is,
Vital.
again, it almost feels like they're never challenged, that they very rarely have to show you that game face. You know, you see them take the stage, get set, it's all jovial, laughing, smiles, happy, and even when it starts to feel like a little bit pressure, people think back to that XL game, maybe a couple of moments in this SK game, you never feel scared for G2. It feels like they're still always in control, or they have that next leadership.
I mean, I was a little scared.
You were scared?
When I saw Perks die to that Braum Q, I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous, but we can look back. Let's check out some of the highlights from G2's win here in a moment. Appreciate
everyone gets one.
Fine G2 moments. And notice that we edited out the parts where G2 died and just followed up with this sick clip. Oh,
the save from Yankos, and then the follow-up from Caps. How low did he get? This is like an alley-oop.
Oh, someone's gonna need to find out. It's just two. And this one right here. This is like they lined up into the meat grinder. Perks is the meat grinder, by the way.
And this is how the composition works in those team fights. When you have a Victor and you have a Sejuani, the AoE zone control and threat that those two champions exert over a team fight just means that Ezreal can literally stand still in certain circumstances and just dish out massive damage.
I've never seen that Ezreal ult change and not thinking it was a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It does so much damage. It does so much damage. Now, if you saw a player that stood out, be sure to vote for the Kia player of the game at LE Sports on Twitter is the place. We've narrowed it down to Yankos, Mickey X, and Caps. If you die to Braum Q, you don't get a player of the game. Sorry, Turks. Those are the rules.
He did like two amazing ultimates. It's the one Q and like, nah, kill it.
It's actually not. That's not how it works. The panel chooses. I trust the panel. And honestly, in any G2 game, it feels like it can beat anybody. For one of those G2, this is eligible to play the game. Let's have an interview with Cole.
Thank you very much, guys. Yankos joined me here. Undefeated still, guys. 5-0 now. Were you expecting this?
I mean, I do think I have very talented players in my team. I'm not sure if I was expecting 5-0, but I was expecting to win.
We'll get back to the players later on. I want to bring up something. Even though you're victorious, you seem to have some issues sometimes in the early game, especially on bot lane and maybe some skirmishes. How do you explain that, and what do you have to do to avoid these mistakes in the future?
I mean, I think our bot lane is very good, but sometimes maybe they try to fight a lot. I don't really know what happened this game, that they died 2v2, but I do know that they were asking me to help a little bit, but I was not there in time. But it still feels like we can adapt and play well enough to turn it around. Even though not always, you know, we kill 2v2, but we can always play around bot lane, and that's what matters.
Do you think right now there's no team that can match G2? You can remain undefeated?
I mean, in Europe, I think we have talented teams. I think Misfits is really good. I do think Vitality is really good as well. I think at some point Fnatic will bounce back and become a good team. So personally, I'm still excited to, you know, play our next opponent.
Now, a bit more about the team, because I talked to Perks about this. I want to have your opinion as a jungler. How is it to play with Caps recently?
I think it's really easy to play with Caps. I do think he talks less about his laning phase than Perks did, but I also feel like he's really good. I mean, not saying Perks is not, but Caps is really insane. So it just comes naturally that it's easy to play on his lane. He will always look for someone in game, and he will always go for the outplay, and he will always outplay. And I think it's kind of fun, and it's a pleasure to play.
Now that you mentioned it, I have to ask, because we've been playing with Perks for years now. It's Caps. Who's the best one?
I mean, Perks is the best AD carry in Europe, and then Caps is the best mid lane in Europe.
Okay, you got a nice way out of it. Thank you very much for joining me for this one. We're gonna take a short break, and when we come back, it's gonna be Schalke 04 versus Splice. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Pyrian them over first day is welcome now. Needs to try to make his way out to safety. First blood, taking down Caps, getting too aggressive, too reliant on the jungler. Jankos is going to get one back. Now they're trying to set their sights on Jankos. 2 stacks gonna look for the chain CC, trying to delete the jungler, but Mickey is off to the side. Perks is just free damage across the entire line. Here comes Whirler, but he might be a little bit too late. Now the Fear are gonna get pulled back. They're just getting shredded. Pulling off on the fight.
Here comes Whirler.
Trying to pull back. That's going to be the cannon ultimate. Does stun him down. Perks instantly taken out. That's the shutdown. Maybe they can get a little bit more, but Caps is on the backside. He's rolling right in on the ground shot. The Urgon is just too strong at this point in the game. They cut through him all too easily, and they will get one. But G2 now realizing the end is in sight will just focus the Nexus and take down SK.
What are you doing?
I love you. Thank you so much.
Whoa! James, what the frickety frick? Whoa!
Gifting substance? That is magic.
fascinating springs, but we have a huge matchup in our next game. Quite take on Schalke and Fear, and both are looking to solidify their positions as title contenders. To help illustrate the point, I want to bring up the standings on screen and take a look at just where these two teams are standing, because they both had a phenomenal start to the spring split. They both went 2-0 last week. I'm going to start by focusing in on Schalke and Fear because they had a fantastic performance last week.
They definitely did. I mean, you look at them, they've only lost to G2 so far, sitting right at the top of the table alongside Vitality and Misfits. And you have to think, if they keep winning and G2 makes one slip up, they're challenging for those number 1, number 2 spots.
But what I think is so exciting about this is coming into the split, many looked at Schalke and Splice to be like middle of the pack, trying to fight their way to the top. And, you know, you just identified that Schalke have a win over Vitality. Their only loss so far is G2, and Splice have just looked better and better each week. So the competition seems stacked towards the top half of our bracket.
Let's talk a little bit about Schalke because they came into the split, they had to rebuild everything. They had to rebuild the team, the roster, the organization. The only member that stayed behind was Upset, the franchise player for the squad. And he is arguably, maybe he is the best AD carry in Europe right now.
I mean, Upset has just been such a consistent player for this team as, you know, throughout its entire history. Took them through Challenger Series, got them promoted to the LCS, now in the LEC, took them to a summer finals against Fnatic. He is such a strong player, and it's so great to see the team develop around him.
And the fear was, coming into this split, that with a brand new roster, he wouldn't be able to perform that. He silenced all of the doubters, he silenced every hater, and he's done nothing but impress. Working with Ignat and Memento, those two seem to have solidified Schalke as a strong early game team, translating into explosive team fights in the mid game.
Yeah, that explosive playstyle is really what I want to highlight. You look at how much Memento and Ignat are actually duoing in the early game. They rotate together a lot of the time to get vision, and you get these team fights near the end of the game. Look at the positioning of Upset. Look at how Ignat facilitates him. It's just so good to see this team having a good early game into an incredible team fight presence.
Okay, now of course there is a reason that we're going pretty in-depth here on Schalke, and we will do the same for Splice in a moment or two. And the reason I want to say this is it fair to say if we step back and we look at Schalke as a whole, their play style is of decisiveness, proactiveness, explosiveness. If you were to give a stylistic brush over the team, Benny.
Yeah, I think that's a very accurate portrayal, and it's very much about strong early game into fantastic team fights, and that is really where Upset seems to shine. And you can't forget about the two players we haven't mentioned, the solo laners, Abadage and Odo. Odo seems to be performing the best I've ever seen him for a long time in his lane, and Abadage is just solid. Every game he does what he needs to, so they have all the pieces to create this fantastic, explosive mid-game team fight.
And talking to Odo backstage, there's a hunger or a drive there, a fire in his eyes that I haven't seen in a little bit. They've got a big task to get ahead of them because they're taking on Splice. Now, Schalke are known for this explosive playstyle. That's never really been true for Splice, maybe ever, right? This is a team that has been known to be steady, reliable, consistent. Last week, they did have a faster pace win. They did have a slightly more explosive one. But Benny, let's talk about the diversity in what Splice has shown us and maybe how it's going to contrast to Schalke.
The thing about Splice is, over the years, they kind of evolved in how they play, but in 2018, what they really solidified was late game scaling into strong team fighting. While they got a little bit better towards the second half of the split, it was still very much about those team fights and a controlled, calculated playstyle. They cared very much about playing smart League of Legends, and I feel like we're seeing a very similar approach this split, but the difference is their rate of growth is so much faster. And already in week 2, we saw them elevate their game times, we saw them being more active in the early game, and I just feel like that they're keeping that controlled, calm playstyle while just being a little bit more decisive and action focused in the early game.
Watching Splice, it always feels like they're playing chess. Like everyone else might be playing checkers, they're going for these aggressive, like massive, explosive playstyles. Splice always know exactly what their next move is, but then they know 3 more moves after that. I think what they've done by shoring up that early game is change themselves from a stepping stone for the great teams into a team that can contend at the top of the table.
I love this because you do have this control on one side and this explosiveness on the other, and we'll need to see who's going to get an advantage. So that's going to be the clash of styles as far as the teams are concerned. But if we focus a little bit more into the bot lane, we're also going to see two of the best bot lanes in Europe as Mr. Splice takes on Mr. Schalke. It's going to be interesting because, of course, Kobe and Upset, the 2 franchise players for the team, got the supporting staff next to them, but it's 2 of the bot lanes that are, quite honestly, in contest or in the discussion for best performing Dust.
I've been really impressed with what I've seen from Raj in the introduction of Upset, and they've been kind of finding a lot more success, but Upset is evolving too. We saw a great interview earlier today from Ignar saying how he likes to roam a lot more around the map, whereas Upset is a lot more lane focused, so they're both evolving as players. I think that's contributing a lot to how they're getting better as a duo.
Medic, I know you're a support main, right? I know that you play the game significantly better than I do, so I'm going to put you on the spot. Touche. Which bot lane is going to come out superior today and why?
I think you have to go with the Schalke bot lane. Like, Upset and Ignar in their game against Fnatic last week really showed me some strong laning phase mechanics and just strong laning phase play, alongside having those good team fights. Splyce, on the other hand, their laning phase isn't about winning by killing their opponents. They're much more about just winning by getting small advantages, and I don't think that's going to work against Upset.
The teams are almost ready, so I need a final prediction on which team is going to win. Control, Splyce, or Explosive Schalke?
I think Schalke's going to take this win, largely because stats bot but also because
analysis, but
I also think that just pound for pound, Schalke seem to have showcased stronger laning phase and stronger team fighting, and I think that the biggest determining factor will be between and Circe as to who will be able to get the win in this game.
Same question.
I think you have to go for Schalke as well. I think the jungle point is very important. Memento so strong in the early game in the way he teams up with Ignar. And I worry for Splyce, if they go for a scaling composition, they're going to get blown away in the early game.
Well, the question is whether or not Splyce can handle Schalke's explosive power. If they can, that's how Splyce can take this game, right? But analysts think Schalke's going to take it, and Splyce and Schalke are those two new top of the table teams that are going to make a statement win tonight.
Thank you very much, Quick Shot. But I'm not sure if I care what the analysts think. Stats bot definitely raining out supreme. So in my eyes, pretty cool on our top roster. They talked about every part of the map. They've given us a breakdown of what to expect, how it's going to go. What are you most interested in?
I'm most interested in the vision, actually, which is always going to be the boring answer. It was funny.
I like the wards. Okay. bit of a mix-up. Okay.
It was funny when we sat down for our stats breakout and we were like going over the numbers, figuring out, you know, what cool stats can we talk about. I was like, check me the vision stats.
I was like, how many people do they kill? You're like, I'm not interested.
How many wards do they kill? And the surprise factor is that these two teams have some of the highest vision stats, 1 and 2 in our entire league. They are a very smart macro team, both of them. And I know we give Splyce kind of that moniker of being the chess team, as Medic just put it, but Schalke are no slouches, and part of why their team fighting is so good is because of their vision control. So I cannot wait, hopefully this game goes longer than the first one, to see some of the Baron setups and defenses from both these squads.
I'm ready to find out. And it's good that you point that out, too, because I think that the chess team always feels after Splyce, and we've heard from Duke, that's kind of what they're going for. They want to be the smart macro team. And it's something that all European teams, I think, used to shoot for in the past, maybe outside of the Unicorns of Love. Now it feels like it's a lot more split between the teams that want to play the perfect, clean, macro style, and the teams that want to push to their individual mechanical limits. Teams like G2, where they say, you know, we're just going to try to out-click you, out-micro you, rather than out-macro you. And we're going to see what kind of team Schalke wants to be today. Because they've shown us a little bit of both. They've out-macro, but definitely out-micro. It's going to be interesting to see what form shows up against Splyce.
What I love is the bridge of Schalke's power. The fact that you have, you know, the Ignar Memento buddy system, where these support and jungler really love to roam together and how they impact the map. And then it feels like, okay, it's team fight time. It's time for Odo and Abadage to take over. Odo's so good at finding these nice Abadage and big offer player, so good at initiating. And then it sets up this guy on your screen, Upset, where all he needs to do is just be that fantastic mechanical ADC. Probably the best team fighting ADC that I think I've ever seen. I watch a lot of ADCs in the LPL. I've always been so impressed with Upset's positioning and how he min-maxes his damages in those team fights.
I like that you're coming here with the best ever. I feel like we've done a good job of converting you to the EU welcome. You've seen the light.
A lot of 80 carries, and Upset is the real deal. I think watching him in team fights is probably one of the most entertaining things.
And that's really scary for Splyce. Because in the past, their big block was the man in the bottom. Was this guy that you could rely on in these late game fights, and now we get to see, are Splyce going to be that good late game team fighting team, or are they just going to have to use better scaling champions to reign supreme? If they even want to play for that late game, will we see the early game Splyce? We are moments away from Big Bang now, and now we get to see what the priority is going to be. I feel like we have to see a Lissandra ban here. Abadage is just too good.
What's strange too is there's so much priority given to Abadage early on into the draft, and I'm really curious if that means that they're hiding his champion pool or that he has a limited champion pool. I'm emphasizing more on the idea that they're hiding it simply because I've heard great things about Abadage and Humanoid. People seem to be really behind how explosive and hyped these guys are coming this rookie mid laners. So if he doesn't get the Lissandra this time around, it's time to show something else.
Cannot wait to find out. Keep you guys updated. We have had the Lissandra, Akali, and now also a Lucian banned on the side of SK. Opposite side, it is going to be the Cassio and the Carpet. And I'm ready to see where the first pick is going to be. Urgot will be the final ban. The pick into the phase. I'll keep you guys verbally updated.
It's your job.
So this is great, because you guys are at home, and I could be like, they picked no, Graphic, you're going to ruin this for me, because I can just say that they picked Teemo. They picked Aatrox. No surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
Giving it Teemo is cool, because this guy has been such a force to be reckoned with when he is on his Aatrox pick, and I feel like that ultimate just unleashes him to play even more aggressive.
And for me, Humanoid is really the X factor for Splice. You know, we don't know what the ceiling of this guy is. We hear that he's very confident, maybe even borderline onto the cockiness, so he's not afraid to step forward. We've seen him grab picks like the Aatrox before, have incredible games, and so he's the guy who I want Splice to really put their resource into. We know that Kobbe is a very solid laner. Give it to Humanoid, let him be that next thing that takes them to the top of the contenders.
I'm ready to see already upsets. Ezreal locked in, though, so we've got two very strong individual picks for the respective players. What is the final pick going to be here in the first rotation from Schalke?
Something that did manage to slip through the ban phase, I don't think it's going to be the pickup here, is Ignar's Thresh. His most played champion so far. I think it's been only banned away from him once, and I think he then turned towards the Morgana. Works very well with his roam style, and also a lot of that safety that him and Upset like to have in the lane phase.
And now Ryze locked in, though, and this excites me because I think I want to see where exactly this is going to go. Odoame's been playing a lot more of these carries in the top lane. Maybe we do see a Ryze go up there, but Abbedagge in the mid lane, I was excited to see how he would fill the shoes of Nukeduck, and being a great Lissandra player and a great Ryze player is an easy way to fill those shoes.
And it also does very similar things as the Lissandra. You know, it's able to clear out the wave very safely, has so much roam potential with the ultimate, and then can be such a force in those late game team fights, especially how we play around Baron. So I hope that the Ryze goes into Abbedagge's hands, because I think it fits right in his playstyle.
And I actually love the sheer amount of comfort picks coming in. Now, the Ryze I want to see in Abbedagge, I haven't seen as much of, but the Braum coming in for Norscarin. Last year, we're like, easy win. Norscarin on Braum, going to be good. Xerxes on the Sejuani as well, a tank jungler, very much fits his style. And I want to see if Schalke follows suit and just continue to go for these more comfortable picks. The Olaf, though, I personally, I always have mixed feelings, because this champion looks so good when it looks good, and when it doesn't do anything in the early game, it looks so useless.
Well, when you see all of the CC coming out of simply two picks of Splice, the Sejuani and the Braum, it's a really easy grab to look towards the Olaf, because it doesn't mean anything more. That zone control that you have with those two picks, Memento doesn't care, and he also has so much pressure then on his lanes, particularly the bottom one. Again, in the LPL, anytime you see Olaf locked in, we're camping bot, boys.
And that, honestly, if you want to camp for upsets Ezreal, I'd call that a good decision. The Bane and the Kai'Sa now banned, so they do not want to get outscaled here. They do not want to deal with some of these excellent duelists.
There's that Thresh.
And the Thresh. I love how specifically targeted this draft phase feels. So often it just feels like generic meta power. And there is definitely some meta power in here, but it also just feels like every player is getting these comfort picks, or the other team is denying them away so cleanly. The Jace taken off the board here was hovered earlier in the champion select.
Odo, one of the big guys that pulled out the Kennen, so not afraid to go for more of these range-style champions, so I feel like the Jace is specifically targeted at him.
What is the option going to be now on the side of Schalke? They're taking away the Thresh. Definitely an amazing pick in the hands of Ignar. We saw how well Upset and Ignar played together against Reckless in lane.
I mean, the safe option is to grab your support here, so you can still hold that Ryze as a flex pick and confuse people, or you just double down and grab another flex. Gragas seems to do that just fine.
Gragas, I think we might see go into the support role in the hands of Ignar. Can go in a lot of different places, though. Obviously, one of those champions, this kit is just so universally good in a wide variety of situations. Now, though, taking time here on the opposite side. What are Splice going to opt to go for? And I'm just curious.
That would be...
Is that an Ornn top? It would be an Ornn top.
I almost got excited too.
I was like, Ornn support! And I was like, well, but I don't think Braum is a flex pick yet. G2 was on stage, we might think so.
So Ornn has had some changes. He's been showing up globally, mostly in the support position. His items and his passive are just a bit easier to use. They actually have more bang for their buck. Feels a lot nicer to have an Ornn there.
Ooh, and the Varus rounding out the composition. Picking to win the lane. Not picking to scale. Obviously can be an incredible team fighter if you can get that Rage Blade stacked up, but not a champion we see nearly as much of. Feels much more about just getting that push down early.
But the thing is that with this composition that Splice have assembled, this isn't a comp that's about high mobility and making those chess moves across the map, you know, beating your opponents to a lane and having a pressure advantage. This is a full team fight composition. You got the Oranhorn, you got the Sejuani ultimate, you have the Braum, you have the Varus. This is them trying to go toe-to-toe with Schalke and saying, okay, you're a great team fighting team. We've now drafted to match you there.
But talking about the Schalke draft then, if we are looking at Splice to have all the components they need to pull off these incredible team fights, what are we looking for on the opposite side for Schalke? Are they also looking for it? I mean, they have the LeBlanc now, they have the Rise. Are we looking at the Schalke 1-3-1 to combat the Splice team fight? That feels like a big mix-up.
I don't think you have to go for the 1-3-1. It's going to be an option pending if Schalke's Rise and LeBlanc really get off and have that springboard and the advantage in the lane assignments. But I look at that composition, I'm like, Ezreal, LeBlanc, Gragas, Olaf. If they walk up to a tower, you're just going to get blown up off of it. The poke damage, the threat of the cast is massive from Schalke. If this composition gets ahead, it is so easy to siege with.
And snowballing has been the name of the game. Even on 9.2, we saw in our first game that once a team gets a lead, very easy to close it. So the Baron nerfs maybe not working quite as well as expected. We will find out, though. One game, not enough of a sample size to be sure. So we get ready for our second game here.
I like the fact that the Rise got flexed up into the top side. It feels like when you're looking across from the Ornn, he's like, okay, this lane phase, Ornn's just going to sit in there and farm. It's a free farm lane for me, so I can get a pass to get to that late game scaling Rise. Does mean that you lose a little bit of your utility in terms of flexing towards the side lanes by using your ultimate, but we'll see if Odo gets involved with his teleport.
And Odo on carry is something we did not get to see a lot on Splice last split. Odo versus Vizicachi feels like very much. We saw Splice earlier today talking a little smack about the former top laner for their own team. We'll see if they can back it up today. Frosker and the fans are ready. Are you ready? Splice, Schalke.
Feels like alongside Team Vitality, these are the two teams that are competing for that third place position in the LEC. So sitting at the big kids table of who's going to be an actual contender this split.
In this game, of course, big difference maker, going toe-to-toe with an opponent you expect to face in that playoffs race, even this early, given the strength of the relative strength of the teams. Pretty significant. Owning the head-to-head, putting them down below, and Splice, I think, a much less changes to the roster overall, it feels like, whereas the Schalke lineup has been rebuilt and has looked strong right off the bat. But important to look across the board at some of these rune choices.
Yeah, just taking note that it's 2 spellbooks on the side of Splice. Pretty standard, an option that Braum can also move into, and of course Ornn usually takes the spellbook, but we'll see how this impacts some of the teleport plays. So a play that Splice really like to run from their playbook is that if the bot lane is ever going sideways, they'll be one of the first teams to pull the trigger and TP or make the play topside to force a tower and take Rim Trail. When you have spellbook on Norscaron and then Kabe with the Varus also with TP, watch for that option around the 11 to 15 minute mark from Splice.
And of course, no spellbook in the hands of Ignar, and no TP in the hands of Upset, so not an option to follow on the Schalke. We're going to see how they combat that option if it comes to it. Memento will get the leashless start. Olaf, of course, incredible individual clear speed. Whereas Sejuani will get a small leash here from the bottom lane, willing to give up a little bit on the level 1 and allow Schalke to push forward.
Blood.
It's always going to be a question of where these junglers are going to attack first. I like the fact that Memento started top side of the map, does give him the option to path bottom, clear out his jungle, and then get an early gank there. And I just love Memento with Ignar. Anytime these guys pair up, I think there's just such a devastating combo. Whether they're roaming and securing vision or Memento is ganking his lane, that's what I want to see for Schalke, and that's what Schalke fans should want to see. Those two in the early game working together.
And we heard from Ignar kind of talking about why he likes this LEC environment, where he's allowed to speak his mind, where he's allowed to be, I think, a little bit more proactive, more vocal about what he wants to do, and we see that show through on stage in a lot of these aggressive plays. Level 2's coming from the bot lane. This is where we kind of expect to start to see Varus pushing back a little bit into this Ezreal. But Upset doing a good job of mitigating that so far.
Yeah, and Norscaron versus Ignar, both huge playmaking supports on massive playmaking champions. Of course, I feel like the edge is given to Norscaron, that he has the Braum into both Gragas and Ezreal. Does have a little bit of outplay potential, or really dissuades Ezreal picks because of how his Unbreakable can interact a lot with that skill shots, either the ultimate as well as the Mystic shot. So a lot of responsibility on Norscaron because he can really take the wind out of Schalke's sails with this composition.
Absolutely can, but now as we check in on the map, Frosco, we can see top side of the map, Xerxes ready and pretty well set up to gank top lane. Luckily, there's a bit of vision to stop it, but Memento has snuck his way into the bottom side here. Clears the top side.
What I said about Olaf. It's really easy for him to gank bottom because of the line that you can take in, and you just walk out with the axe. Chunk him once with the belly bop from Gragas, huge damage.
Body slam flash, but they do not have the level advantage here. How many more creeps is the question before they get that level 3? They're going to step forward, upset, maybe revealing their hand. Here comes the Predator, copy now in trouble. The flash forward, the body slam, an instant flash out. Excellent pullback here. North Cannon blocks any follow-up, and they deny the gank immediately. Do sacrifice Copy's flash, though.
And it feels like both teams will feel pretty good about that initial gank. Copy's like, yes, I blew my flash, but they used 2 summoners as opposed to my 1, where Schalke are like, yes, he blew his flash, let's do it again.
Now we have to wait to see that repeat. Creative pathing coming in. So
the zombie ward.
And we've talked to so many top laners about this before, but being safe on red side top lane feels nearly impossible. And Odoamne not respecting the repeat gank. He's already blown his flash, and it looks like he might just go down here in an instant 3 stacks forward. That's to stun up. The aftershock damage comes in. Odoamne goes down. First blood. He was too keen to give his old teammate a hug. That's what that looked like to me.
Yeah, that's a feels bad moment. Maybe a little bit of mind games, I guess. He knew that he was there, but he saw the back, figured, he's gone by now. He's not still in that bush. Overgreeds, immediately punished. And I love the fact that Chachi just flashed. He's like, you burned your flash? Time to die.
And Vizichachi is not a man who was ever scared, regardless of the matchup that he's picked into here. And we take one more look at it.
So, does dodge the initial
knock-up
damage, the knock-up, the displacement from Ornn, but the fact that Xerxes was still around, bad luck. That's what I'll call it.
Well,
it's a bad decision, but bad luck.
Decision. You can call it bad luck. That's fine. It was unlucky. There is a world where Xerxes didn't opt to stay top, and in that world, Odoamne is not 0-1-0. Luckily, he still has a bit of a CS lead, does not able to get the catalyst or the tier, though, on the first back, which is pretty big.
Yeah, that's the big thing, and it's the fact that he had to use his TP on that back timer to make sure he didn't just lose everything in that lane as the wave was also pushing in, which makes that back much harder. So the tier, a little bit slower, delays the rise. We'll see if he can get over this hiccup, but it never feels good.
Memento now moving. We'll get spotted on Vision, trying to cover for Odo. You have a pause coming out. We'll keep you guys updated on what exactly is happening. But an interesting early game for sure. Already seeing Xerxes with a successful gank. Definitely not what Schalke wanted to deal with. Getting top lane snowballing for Vizichachi. Every time Vizichachi is in control, I feel like this guy is just such a monster in teamfights.
I mean, anytime that Ornn gets ahead, it just feels that much better because, again, Ornn doesn't really need anything to be an effective champion with all of the utility on his kit. It is nice to see Splice paying attention to that top side. I feel like Odo's really been ignored. Everyone's talking about, Abadage this, Memento that, Ignar and Upset. It's all amazing, which that's the nice thing about this Schalke roster. But Odo has been so good in so many of these team fights. So when he is ahead, it makes Schalke that much more impressive.
And Rise, of course, it's not the cannon, right? It's not this AP cannon. It's not this huge, big one-moment flank to turn the fight. It has that incredible scaling for the late game, but putting it behind early on just feels like it can be a death sentence for a lot of these early to mid-game skirmishes.
And we did talk about how I
Wealth is my kind of burden.
Because it fits with a lot of the tools that he's showcased on that Lissandra, but in Odo's hands, I still love it because Odo's still been such a master at flanking, and Rise still gives your team so many opportunities to do that, and that's what I'm so impressed with Schalke. Like, watching them, I would love to listen to their comms because they look so clean, and that they're all on the same page, and you wouldn't expect that with how new this roster is.
No, you would not. As an update on the pause, we are now back into game. It was just an issue with stage lighting. Someone with a little bit too much light in their eyes. We adjusted it for Schalke, and we are now back in. That's why Odo did stay.
He was blinded?
He was blinded.
Just didn't see it.
That's my theory. That's not the information that came from. As we look at this game, one thing we have to look out for was that if the Schalke composition gets ahead, they just run through this game. What happens if the Splice composition gets ahead, Frostguard? What happens then?
They can run through, but they do it in very different ways, and it's forcing team fights as opposed to just being able to walk up to the towers. Because most of their champions are short range, save for the Varus, it's still difficult to siege unless you want to team fight on top of it. Good news is, it's something like an Infernal Drake, so if Splice do feel confident with their team up, they can be quite devastating.
Oh, Memento's here, but Memento's a little too late. There's the Ornn, blows it out, and now Odoamne's caught no man lane. They need to back off here, but Memento here as well throws down the challenging spot for a little bit more damage. Well-timed counter again to stop Odoamne from dying there.
And good heads up from Memento to realize, okay, my top laner, he's in a bit of a hard situation. Has to teleport early on, didn't get the back that we wanted, so I just need to hover around the lane and push up some safe lead, so we can push up, get that straight down, Spotlight's probably fine. Let's make sure that
It's definitely fine. Doing even and starting to pull ahead a little bit in CS. Sheen, obviously, much more ideal buy for this early wave pressure than a Vampiric Scepter. We'll see what first items look like as we come through, but it feels like Xerxes and Chachi maybe overplayed their hand a little bit there. Giving up the flash from Xerxes could be huge as the level 6s are going to start coming in shortly. 7 minutes. Last game, I believe it was 7:15 Frost Garden that we saw the level 6s on patch 9.2. We'll see if these guys are able to match pace.
And I was curious how this would affect teams that are really reliant on their junglers. Again, if you're a team that's built around your jungler, like, let's say SK, who really rely on self-made, your jungler not getting as much experience can slow down the team. Teams that are really reliant on their mid laners, let's say someone like Caps, will probably be just fine because the laners are still just in the PowerPoint that power.
Now, as we check, level 6s still haven't come in for Xerxes, but Memento has picked up his. Xerxes, it's been interesting. Splice hasn't always relied on him. There's been a few games where he's been the defining moment on the team. But other times where it's been the macro plays and the double TP play option that Splice have used to get ahead. Now that option not quite available as Xerxes does currently have the heal and ignite for his solo. But maybe we see them shift for that.
With that heal and the ignite, it just incentivizes Xerxes to be able to into the bottom lane. He now has his ultimate backup and available for him. He could slip behind this and just try to force his play, knowing that they have the summoner advantage.
Eyes on Copy to fire his ultimate out. There's a ward in the bush, though. They're going to see Xerxes coming in. They know they've been spotted out. Good look for the rinse and repeat, though. Waiting around worked really well for Xerxes last time. All to say.
They also just want to make sure that if they are to shove into this lane, that they find a good
Kind of having a field day against Aatrox. I feel like it's really hard to land the Dark Blade against such a mobile champion. A bit of CC, though, would definitely stop that in its tracks. Abadagi remaining, though, at full health as Aatrox kind of just desperate to heal something back.
Probably still feeling really good that he's got his jungler underneath him. Maybe Xerxes pulls his own Yankos over that wall.
Denied play. Now I've got a pause on the outside. Looks like it's coming from Kabi. Maybe he also needs to stage. Yeah, he's chilling. He's chilling in the bot lane. Item check in front turn is we're gonna pause. So visualize with me, people. I don't have a graphic for you, but I can draw one. I can hand draw on the screen. I don't think we should do that though. But it feels like Vizichachi's in that ideal comfort point. Yes, he's losing in CS, but he's also so close to the Abyssal Mask that Odoamne doesn't seem like he has a lot of kill pressure at this point. This man still has not been able to back, still has not started a tier. About 9 minutes into the game. Definitely not ideal for Rise. It's going to take a long time to stack up.
Yeah, but again, it's this idea that it's Ornn versus Rise. I think from Shalka's perspective, they were thinking, okay, it's just going to be back and forth with the wave, a little bit of tug-of-war, and then we're just going to scale up for free. I'm sure Splice probably in that similar boat. It's Rise versus Horn. We'll just sit there, get the game, see how hard CC and Sejuani and myself. Maybe we kill him. Otherwise, see you at the team fights, guys.
Yeah, it was so epic. The Ignite TP. I remember a few. That split. It's a good time. You lead to some Ornn solo kills.
What's interesting is, this is a pretty old school point, but Ornn taking the Ignite. Some teams, they feel that Ornn can take the Ignite is that much more punishing. Again, when you pair him with the jungler like Sejuani, the Ignite on top of him. Ornn would also also has the Ignite and so it's kind of a double bank for your buff on that summoner, offensive and defensive options.
And if I know my man Vizichachi, he's looking at the dive option. He's looking at the how do we kill this guy in lane. Because very often that's what he's all about. But now, back into game. Ooh, see a little bit of aggression in the mid lane. Nice use of Darkened Blade. Oh, he's gonna have to use the ultimate, but stunned up under tower. How many little blocks are we gonna see die like this?
How many times are people gonna go for the all-in when Sejuani's hanging around the mid lane?
All right, as an update on the pause, guys, Splice paused the game. They encountered a known minor bug within the game, and after consulting with the team, league officials have determined to play on. Odoamne has determined it's time to back. Fun fact, he might actually be able to get some items and gain a little bit more relevancy in this lane. And Infernal Drake going to drop in favor of Splice. Generally, things are going well for this team.
And the go button here is the fact that they know that LeBlanc doesn't have the TP, so they think they have the numbers advantage.
Flash, and he's gonna get it! He takes it away! No mercy here now coming in. Upset's off to the side. Cobbie's definitely trying to hold on for a tier 5. Upset has more than enough damage to close it out in a second. All it took. They turn it around, they take the dragon, and right like that, the entire lead from Splyce is deleted.
That is checkmate for the chess team there. They thought that they had the advantage, and Schalke just kicked the board over. Again, it was calculated like, okay, we force the little ball back. He doesn't have the TP. It's probably fine to approach this dragon. We feel secure in our vision, but Olaf walks over, and even if Olaf didn't steal it, you have the Ezreal ult incoming.
The dash out. Moving forward, locking him down. Ignar not sure if they want to seek on that one. Double chains. Abadage. Not gonna do anymore. Doesn't want to commit anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't have vision of Cersei. So again, a lot of the respect. And again, I don't blame Splyce for this decision here. They thought they could get it. Unfortunately, didn't smite. That's just a feel bad moment. As then Upset just walks down Kabe.
That is a big oopsie, I think, from the side of Splyce. Not respecting what is an incredibly powerful early game champion Olaf. He just got to walk into that pit, take it away, and walk right back out.
And the issue is, and I know that I complimented Splyce and Schalke's vision beforehand, but Splyce simply didn't have deep enough vision to secure that against these types of champions, the likes of the Olaf with Thunder, the likes of the Ezreal, their ability to quickly once you're in the pit. If they maybe had some of that vision line pushed into the offensive jungle, it might have been a little bit better.
With that case for now, Memento will pick up that blue buff, or at least mid laner. We'll see.
It was pinged a lot, though.
I feel like you steal a dragon, you earn a buff. Like, you gave the long the Infernal Drake, you should just take the blue buff. But fine, be a team player.
The repeatable poke damage, though, that LeBlanc can put out now that she has a blue buff is obviously going to be a huge help. These are some fire.
For now. And interestingly
he wins the day.
He wins the day. He got it. Taking it away. Still gonna hit him though. Odoamne may still playing with a lot of respect here, trying to throw it back in the tier, and just not having the catalyst yet does make it a little bit awkward in some of those trades.
Oh.
And this went from like, ooh, Ryze might have kill pressure, and after that first play, it's like watching a tanks fight. Just weird, bizarre tanks. In this case, a Rune Man.
It can get a little bit scarier though, now that Memento's here, so waiting for that ward to clear out so he can slip in. Now they're waiting for Chachi to...
The snap ignite because he wants to back and TP in.
They were waiting for Chachi to look for the knock-up, and now that they decided he's not going to do it since the wave is pushing him, Memento's like, see ya.
I like the ignite. That just feels... It's an alpha move right there. Abadage. One piece of CC is all it's going to take. Chance might does go down. Predator here to turn the play. Is he just going to make it out time? Now backing off, though. You're not going to get much else.
Cersei's still sitting on ultimate, and really he's just looking for a place to use it. If it's in a counter gank in the mid lane, or in that bottom lane. Feels like it should be bottom.
And if you're in the audience, you can hear the players on stage shouting. They're clearly ready to make a play. They're communicating intensely. But you can tell the game is so even, like this 600 gold lead, only really a dragon, no towers broken yet. Both teams are very aware that a single mistake can open this game wide up.
It feels like a bit of a I want to point out the fact that Kabe they like having their playbook where, okay, let's break this game open. The dragon is down, we can play around the top side, not going to be an option for them, and I feel like it's a direct response that it's a double Infernal possibly, so they don't want to give up control over the ball with that Drake spawning in 1 minute.
And if Ezreal's going to go for the double tier build, double Infernal is terrifying, so you definitely have to respect that choice. Abadage though on the LeBlanc just continues to be obnoxious. Great, even with Cersei there and ultimate available. So massive CS discrepancy across them. 99 to 136.
And it's not just the CS discrepancy, it's the fact that Abadage is absorbing so much pressure and attention from Cersei. It feels like Sejuani's just been sitting around that lane, waiting for this LeBlanc to overstep, and that's, you know, more time taken away from Cersei to impact these other lanes, whether that be top or bottom.
And I think when we look at it, this game is very slow, very close, and both teams are going to be playing communication. If we compare that to the SK game, it was much more explosive early on with a sudden turn from G2, and this feels very different. Feels like two very controlled teams. I think both teams aware of what this game means. Because once again, these are two teams trying to fight to make the top of the standings, and now Ignar trying to just knock him out. It looks like he tried to start the R, but the animation did not finish on the World Ender, and he just got deleted.
Just absolutely dumped, and unfortunately, it's a communication issue because losing track of Ignar, 9 times out of 10, when they support backs, he's going to walk towards the mid lane because he wants to place wards there anyway. A, Splice don't have any vision, so there was no safety, and then B, wasn't aware that he was on the back of his base and would probably be around mid lane.
He just keeps getting stunned. Jersey's got this man's number, he's just not sure which one is the real one. Respect that turret, my friend. This is the turn. Are they going to be able to take this one?
That's a yes.
Payback! 1 for 1. I mean, you gotta respect it. Norscaren's out here on that Braum. Xerxes looks like he's gonna die. And he is. And in an instant, Frostgren, we talked about snowballing.
You called for action.
I called for action. I thought I called for the snowball. Can we get the snowball graphic? Because I called for this saying this was a very close game. But we saw a couple kills, and immediately we're right there. Look at the goal difference. We are right on point for the snowball meta. The question is this game going to follow the same pattern as every other game, where we see this incredible early game lead built by one team, and they just absolutely bring it home.
There have been very few teams that have been able to come back from a goal deficit. And it's funny too, because again, looking at the 9.2, you got the changes to Baron, you got the changes to towers, the changes to the jungle. It feels like Riot's doing everything in their power to slow down the game a little bit. The pro player's like, nah, pedal to the metal, let's go.
We don't care about you, balance team. And now, give me the slow one. Yes! Oh, he took smite! I'm blind! I'm blind! Oh, he told me he wouldn't dab anymore, but he's still out here disrespected. So scared, man. What a hero to this place right there. That's embarrassing. Getting outsmoked by a support.
Didn't get to use the TP play, but finds the Infernal Drake. Huge win.
Huge win for the team. And as mentioned, still very good for their team. A lot of people can't put that to good use. The Aatrox and the Varus, most notably, and denying it from Schalke.
I want a triple smite Baron. Can't get it now, but I wanted it.
It might happen. It might happen. Varus, once he gets that Rage Blade, does shred through a Baron pretty quick. Triple Smite makes it that much easier. Abadage, though, he knows he's winning this lane. The tower is down once again. Schalke's still very much in control. The Infernal, sadly, functioning more like a consolation prize than anything else at this stage of the game. And now we get to see how they exert dominance over the jungle. You talked about vision being so important for this team. Both of these teams, and Schalke with the lane pressure here, just feels like they get to set up so much more.
And the question is what if they attack next? And it should be the Rift Herald. You can see that the vision's already set up from Splice around it, but at some point, Schalke are going to start moving up into that area, clearing it out, and playing for kind of that next tower, which starts with Rift Herald.
Rift Herald, you can see all up on the top side, predicted. For now, those Splice very aware of that, doing what they can to control the vision. Sadly, Control Ward is going to take a little bit away, as well as the Scuttle Crab fading. Meaning they are all but blind if Memento wants to go for the solo.
And I want to point out, everyone knows that Upset is a great Ezreal player, but why Ezreal is also so important for Schalke is because of how much they are roams around that bot.
Just immediately deleted, does not even get a chance to find the knock.
I'm going to say it allows Upset to sit in the lane by himself, but Ignar actually got back to it. I thought before we're going into the replay that Ignar was going to roam up with Memento, and it was going to be a party on the top side.
It's definitely party on the top side. Not the party that Vizicachi wanted. You feel like he had hopes to turn that moment around. Frostgren, you told me in the draft, you said if this Schalke team gets ahead, they're just going to kill anyone who stands under a tower. So far, so good. And now I'm wondering what Splice do to fire back. They're going to get a tower, but it's the one-for-one trade on the side of Schalke.
The Splice way would be to split up the map and start trading towers. It's not necessarily what their comp wants to do, but it's what Splice love to do.
Abadage, definitely feeling comfortable putting people leaping towards any champion, regardless of how much CC they have, fearlessly. Humanoid maybe hoping to get a solid trade in his favor. It's one over right there.
It feels like with all this attention to the side lane though, that we've missed the window for the Rift Herald, and I feel like that's actually better for Splice, because they were afraid of Schalke getting that and then getting kind of too bang for your buck on it, because it's a siege composition or a comp that could have such strong siege potential with a Rift Herald. It's still not great though that it's around the Baron, but a little bit better.
Small win. Small win. And interesting too, as we check on the build, you see two people with 500 gold for LeBlanc, the 450 gold for Olaf, and I like the Black Cleaver build coming from Memento. He knows he wants to threaten the backline, not seeing the redemption, not seeing more supportive Olaf build, relying on those base damages. He's very ready to go deep on this character.
And he's also against a red, so it makes sense for him to have those aggressive itemization choices, because Memento's job could just be, I rock into the backline and just delete this Varus.
Definitely a terrifying prospect. You are the boss. You have the Braum to protect all his range projectiles. You are not going to stop a melee range Olaf. Luckily, Kabi does have the 2-item spike, though. Big breakpoint for this champion. Should feel pretty comfortable. Sadly, he's now playing against the ticking time bomb that is double-tier Ezreal, which is slowly going to start to stack up.
Kabe has a really tough go at it with this composition. If this does come to a 5v5, just think about the backline threat that they have. The Ezreal with the 3 damage of Braum doesn't block the ultimate. The fact that Olaf can fly back there, the LeBlanc. Kabe's going to be on perfect form if he wants to survive and actually maximize his damage output.
We talked about it. Thought. Proto is going to back out. Upset now starting to get more aggressive as Vizichachi is going to run for the hills. Throwing Qs left and right. Upset versus Kabi. This stage of the game. See what Kabi can do is get into the late game. That block. So anyone's going to play perfectly.
Answer to Abadage. I mean, I know that you like to talk about this, Dracos, the fact that mages can actually siege towers.
It's so obnoxious. Why even take an 80 character, some might ask. And by some, I mean I ask that. Long, you can kill a tower. But the Ocean Drake will go to Splice in the meantime, so a Drake wants maybe not the trade that they want.
Definitely not the trade that they want. That's
If they had gotten it 12 minutes ago, it would have been good. But sadly, Ocean this late in the game, just not super relevant.
It's not stealing if they're dead.
And Frostgren, 21 minutes in, it feels like I'm just once again waiting for that Baron, that all-important Baron. Schalke have the lead. They've got control over the individual lanes. Look at that vision. Top side.
It's now about if they execute on the vision, since there's no driving to play around. There is a timer where Schalke can around the Baron. There's much more on Splice to play on the Baron. Laying down the Ornn, the Sejuani ultimate, the Varus ultimate, and things like that. They want to group up, whereas Schalke want to play kind of that hit-and-run style of League of Legends.
Well, the Predators now come out from Olaf, so maybe they're feeling a bit more comfortable. Humanoid, though. Rumble Dash comes out, has to use both just to get out of the tether range, knowing that that could have been a death sentence for him. Seems like both teams just kind of poking, kind of prodding. Well, Spencing like looking for that weakness in the enemy's defense to try to find an opening, to try to find some kind of engage. Maybe the team fight is where it's going to turn back. Now, much more about fighting for this division, fighting for these wars.
Ignar is very brave and opens that door.
I feel like you get Ignar down. Small window, maybe where Schalke's team fighting strength is reduced.
So this is the waffling where Splice need to make a play, and there it is.
Locked up, not a lot of ways to get out of this one. Still long, so does just get the double dash out.
But the mindset is correct, not necessarily on targeting the LeBlanc with such high mobility, but that we can't just sit here and let LeBlanc win the side lane and let Upset just poke us out in the mid lane or hoover up all of this farm. We need to use some of these holes. I think it's something that you can probably talk about on pulling the trigger because they're not maximizing all the farms in their lanes, and they're falling further and further behind Schalke, kind of passively losing the game.
A difficult spot to ensure. Upset has completed the Muramana, so the second tier has begun to charge. The Wamne just gets more and more comfortable. Move up for himself, as well as the completed Archangel. Vizichachi is going to be upgrading some other people's items, but outside of that, he is not going to be able to handle this 1v1 too much longer.
And I do want to credit a lot of Schalke's ability to deny vision. So we just saw kind of the big war where Ignar was clearing out brushes, but it's the fact that Splice has been unable to get any sort of deep vision behind Schalke. On a composition where it's so important with the quick hard engage, you need to make sure that you can get those detours to try to find the teleport point.
Stop Humanoid's back as Abadage is on the hunt. Coordinated effort was often to try to find a cheeky pick to maybe get them in a position to start Baron. The Gragas feeling frisky. They do not have vision over that wall.
Wants it.
Wants to go for the play. Here comes Memento. They're starting to retreat. They smell something coming. Still more ignorant.
Yeah, the saving grace was that Memento and Abadage won.
Oh, Kabi doesn't have the push you want. Has to give up the flash. Does manage to make it out with his head, but the flash is far. It's up against an Olaf is a terrifying throw.
So we've been in the stance, we've been posturing a little bit, but the dance is going to come to the end. The Infernal Drake is going to spawn. We're going to have two huge monster triggers as well as something is going to break here.
Splice ready for the fight. They are going to take the mid lane. They see the side laners present, trying to get those waves pushed, so they're going to take that opportunity to push out and take the tier 1 mid lane tower. Now we see Humanoid moving out, maybe going to clear up a little bit of vision. Chachi tries to forge a new item. It does.
Right in front of his opponent.
Upgrades the Blade of the Rune King for our boy Kabe. Doesn't have a flash, but has an upgraded Blade of the Rune King. I would make the flash, but you know, beggars can't be choosers.
But this is kind of also ways that Splice is between their solo lanes, Rise and the Walk now. Again, it's designed to
but Splice weren't able to capitalize, weren't able to turn it into anything greater in the early game, and now it's nuts for Splice, slowly but surely losing out on the gold, losing out on the scaling for some of these champions.
Here comes our arena, 8 seconds. Splice got here first of our initial vision control, but still none of those deep wards that they need.
Good point. Still playing with a lot of confidence here. Unbreakable has now been burned. Means Ignar can't try to find an engage into the backside. Upset does a lot of damage to that tank. Now he's looking for the engage, so they're immediately going to fire out. But Humanoid is already forced to use the ult. The Darkin Blade coming through, but already starting the resurrection. Vizitachi looking for Upset on the backside. He's still going to throw in a lot of damage. Can't find the ups. Ooh, can't find the knock-up in the end. Odo Wamni now coming in to clean up house. They're taking down the Olaf, but they can't get anything else because Abadage is out for blood. The flash forward from Ignar. Humanoid desperate to get something back, but it is not going to work out in the end. Kabe and Xerxes caught in the base of Schalke. No hope to survive. The Ezreal gets the double. They might just give him the triple. All too easy as Schalke destroy the fight.
And it's just a single team fight, and now Schalke can take whatever they want. If they want the Infernal, if they want the Baron, if they want to follow the creeps, it'll probably be the Baron. Maybe even make it two. As you can see, they all separate. But that's the thing. Schalke are so good at team fighting. Splice, they try to trap the team fight. They say, okay, we've got the tools, we've got the arsenal. This team wants to fight us. Let's make sure we're just as strong as them. And they just weren't.
Humanoid just, the ultimate forced out immediately, dies, immediately gets the resurrect. That allows him to get something back, but it's just too good. You can see the desperation to pick off Upset on the backside does not pay off for Vizitachi and Schalke. Confidence in these plays.
And they threw everything initially at Upset. I believe most Baron flashed his okay, the Ornal actually finds Upset after this flash, and he also walks blindly into the Aatrox. He's not aware that he's on the brush, but Upset still survives and is continuing to output DPS alongside Abadage the entire time. Excellent turn from Odo to help him out.
It just misses the second stab of Darkin Blade there from the Aatrox to kill Upset. Would not have turned the cyclist at it because Abadage is still so strong. Even Owame at this point is massive damage threat. It feels like once Splice lose Kabe, once they lose Humanoid, they just don't have anything left.
And a big part of that is the fact that when Splice fight and were forced to look for it over the Infernal, they had already fallen too far behind into the gold just continues to grow. Double inside of Schalke, the Drake RNG working out very much in their favor, and you can see 2,000 gold lead in the mid lane alone, 2,400 rather. And then remember how devastating Schalke's composition can be with Siege. Xerxes, I do like the fact that he's trying to clear out these lightning wards and then just dissuade them from approaching the tower, but Baron being wide in all 3 lanes, and just the safety there. You know, how are you going to gank the Rise, or the Ezreal, or the LeBlanc?
Vizitachi desperate to get something here. Odo Wamne trying to sidestep the flash, still gets hit by the ultimate. Kabe on the way, the ulti not going to connect to the Bootsies here and take him out. Odo Wamne solo killing Vizitachi, and it's Upset over the wall. There's so much damage coming in. Lucair is running for his life. Is he going to be able to make it down? Upset chasing down Humanoid, locked up. Ready to go at a moment's notice for the body slam. Follow up instead, setting their sights on the
and everything is falling on them. It's not just in the top lane, it's also in that mid lane. This is going to be a huge swing for Schalke.
Breaking one inhibitor, looks like they're set to break 2. The already RNG is not going to matter at this point for those inhibitors, just dropping them instantly from the team. One inhibitor. They're just going to continue to press. No ulti quite yet. We'll be soon.
objectives, all of these resources, and then come back that much stronger? Or, why not? We've got Baron. Even if we wipe here, it's not going to mean anything. There's no objective for Splyce to take, so let's push our luck, use our comp sieging ability and poke ability, and see what else we can break.
This continues to look good for the Schalke lineup. So not able to break the W stack there as Abadage just leaps in, continues to deal so much damage here. And Abadage continuing to impress. We wanted to see if he could play more than just the Lissandra. Now showing his hand on this assassin style pick, and it's a good look. 4, 1, and 3. I was wondering, how does he have so much health? You can see his health bar right now. Why is that health bar so big? That's because he's level 17 to the level 15 of Aatrox. Incredible individual lead. And Schalke smiles on their faces, I think, unsurprisingly, because they know that they are moments away from winning this game.
And that puts pressure on Splyce. You know, they've got one last final stand probably left in them. Maybe they get the miracle team fight, wipe them, but even from there, you're still fighting from a massive back foot. They'd have to win probably the next 5 team fights in a row before this game even evens out.
And checking in on some of these cooldowns here, Upset, the cleanse. Up and available, the flash is not there, so he's going to be a hard target to find. But if Abadage oversteps, he has been playing incredibly aggressive, has no way to cleanse out here. So maybe that is an opportunity if Aatrox can land the key engage, or you see it from Xerxes. But it really does feel like
again, I just kind of expect Schalke to continue to force this into Splyce because they're both
side of the map. But it really just feels like a testament to how strong Schalke are in this game right now as we look back at this one.
I was going to say, I had to quickly recall which one it was going to be. Odo's just very tasty right now. To rotate over into the fight and then just start cleaning up on the back half. And to pick a fight there, if Splyce lost it, they were going to lose big.
And it does feel like a bit of a communication breakdown there. Vizicachi going in, the team not quite in position. You see Humanoid with the desperation trying to land that Darkened Blade onto what is a full health rise. So does seem like it broke down there in the end. And now it's going to cost Splyce dearly as their base has been broken open, as we're looking at what it could just be 3 inhibitors taken down. We are going to be playing on. The game is now resuming as we check back in. It's a slow siege. It's a game of protect the super minion.
Should be noted that Rise is escorting in the waves up into the top side of the base. So again, trying to split up Splyce so they can't use their all-in engage together.
One more on the tower from Upset. Doesn't want to push forward. They're just taking their time. Another tower dropping. Splyce are going to need to pull the trigger somewhere. They need to pick a target. They need to delete it as quickly as possible. Humanoid has said top. The rest of the team has said bottom, and it's a split call. The engage is going to find Upset, but he immediately cleanse is out and just in time. The Essence Shift is going to go in. Abadage now trying to follow up, trying to re-engage. It's a slow, steady clear. They throw the Ezreal right into the Unbreakable, but the inhibitor is the goal in their sights. Slowly trying to take it down, but now he's locked up. Upset is going to get taken down, and this is the chance to turn the fight. Splyce ready now to fire back. Humanoid has to be careful, though. Odoamne still a massive damage threat. The rest of Schalke unafraid. They are not worried about the Ezreal. They have the Rise, they have the LeBlanc, and they're going to continue to pressure forward.
And it feels like they want to get this and get out.
Odoamne knocked up. Has he overstayed his welcome? Abadage running low on mana. Odoamne now could be in trouble. Humanoid running right to the back line now, trying to turn it. He's burning down. He's going to come out of the zone. Use a die immediately. Shutdown is massive. Splyce turning it back. 3 inhibitors down, but they are going to be able to find the fight. Ignar taken out as well. Abadage running for his life, and Splyce managed to take it.
I mean, it's the silver lining for Splyce. It means that they live to fight another day, but the nature of this play was always going to be high reward, low risk. And the reason why is that even if Splyce aced Schalke there, there's nothing for them to do. All of the minion waves are, again, going to crash into their base. They're now dealing with all of these super creeps. The Baron is spawning in 120, and Schalke are just going to say, you're still locked in your base. Yeah, you got a couple of kills, you got a couple of bounties, but we're just going to play around the Baron anyway. And that's kind of the last Hail Mary for Splyce. They need to make sure that they can hold off that buff in time for their inhibs to respawn.
We look back at this, and they find Upset once, and again, he finally is going to drop.
Big thing there was the fact that Kabe didn't use his ultimate in the initial engagement with the Ornn ult and the Sejuani ult. Feels like Schalke just didn't pay attention to the cooldown, lost track of the Varus ultimate, and then caught him off guard once the cleanse was down.
And Odoamne trying to get cheeky with the Realm Warp. Does not work out for him in the end, and Splyce are able to get a few kills, grab a couple shutdowns in progress. As we check back in on live in the picture-in-picture, you can see Baron, the focus here. Team's already starting to set up Schalke, knowing that if they get this one, they can just pretty much walk it down the respective lanes. And Abadage, level 18, just a predator waiting in the jungle to leap out at anybody who stands in his way.
So at this point, Schalke just need to hunker down in this area, clean out all of the vision, and then either just set a trap or turn and burn the Baron with double Infernal and all of the item advantages that they have.
This is a very different look. You look at the damage dealt over the course of the game, Rosk. One, obviously very heavily in the favor of Schalke. No surprises, they are winning quite handily, but you look at how well it's split between the 3 damage threats on this team, and that's a different look. We're not relying on upset for that late game carry. You don't have the utility mid laner anymore, just so many damage threats across each one of their respective carries.
And it's just much easier for Schalke's composition to output this type of damage because of the nature of their champions. Again, you can just throw out Mystic Shot, start racking up that number, throw out the little Blanc distortions, rack up that number. And Rise being in a side lane this entire game by himself.
Fighting an Ornn.
Odo continues to do.
You're just boosting your stats every time you throw out a combo. 5k and dropping. Really no way for Splyce to interact with this Baron. With every inhibitor dead, it does feel like the funeral march for Splyce. Schalke will barrel down the respective lanes once they're able to get their resets. Double super minions on the bottom side alongside Odo.
I think there's actually a trap possibly being set up. Nope, we're gonna pull the plug on that one. It looked like they were waiting for Odo to walk forward and then hide Varus and Braum in that tiny little pixel brush and try to gank him.
Vizichach, you can tell he's fishing for something. They're hoping to find a pick here, but it's a dangerous game. Overcommitting to a play right now does mean that your base will be pretty much instantly obliterated as we see a very terrifying Ezreal and LeBlanc. The Death Cap coming out for the LeBlanc as well as the Archangel Staff coming in for the Ezreal. Inhibitors now respawning on the top of the middle. That will buy them at least one wave where they don't have the double super minions, but you can see how quickly they're dying as Abbedagge and Upset do their due diligence to break these down. Splyce holding on to one at least to deny the double spawn of super minions.
Someone's got to go, Splyce.
They're calling the shot on Odoamne. They are going to find the knockup. Where's the follow-up going to be? Ignar with a quick disengage. It's a slow, controlled finish for Schalke as they walk into the base. Splyce, once again, they've already burned a lot of engaged tools. Ignar's burned the cat in exchange. Humanoid trying to find something, but Abbedagge now pushing forward and leaping right back out. The Sejuani all missed, and that might be all she wrote.
Rivers will
now
run
moving
red.
in for Schalke as they push for a little bit more. Humanoid trying to land something, trying to get something. Eyes on Kabi in that ultimate. Where can he find it? The flash is up for Upset. They're going to be nigh impossible to lock down this Ezreal and LeBlanc. Schalke slowly picking away. Odoamne is going to get caught out, but there, the follow-up is now denied. They're trying to return. Upset free fire into the backline. Abbedagge leaping into everybody, and this could be the fight that Schalke need. But Splyce already getting a lot of damage down from Kabi, but an instant turn as Odoamne just shreds through the back line. Memento still alive. A clean final fight for Schalke in the end, and they are going to take down Splyce and move up to 4-1 in the standings.
And it frankly looked like a cat and mouse game. Schalke completely in control, just tore Splyce apart. And Splyce, that indecision continues to rock them. It felt like they needed to pull the trigger a bit earlier on their big 5v5 wombo combo abilities on that composition, but we're just never able to lock down Schalke.
And just a well-played game across the board. Schalke moving up once again, proving that they are a contender for top of the table. And such a young lineup to be doing so quickly in the split.
And I love the fact that Abbedagge did it on the LeBlanc, a huge pressure point for this game, and proving that, you know, I don't play Lissandra simply because that's all I can play. I play Lissandra because she's in the meta. I'm just doing my due diligence for the team.
And Abbedagge pulling ahead in the race of rookie mid laners. We wanted to see Abbedagge versus Humanoid, how that was going to play out. Abbedagge wins the day quite handily. And now you're wondering, is he just going to pull ahead of the pack? Is this man a clear standout for Rookie of the Split already? Self-made, maybe the only other person going toe-to-toe with him in terms of contesting.
As Schalke continue to rise and Abbedagge continues to prove himself, he's definitely my front runner right now and who I'm most interested at. It felt like it was a race, you know, is it Humanoid, is it Nemesis, or is it Abbedagge? Who is the true next generation of EU mid lane talent? And it feels like Schalke made the right call.
Absolutely did. And the strategy coming across so well for them. Hello, Memento. Getting some high fives as well. Hey, everybody. Not from Ignar, though. Oh, deny. Okay, you guys can't see that on camera, but it was a little harsh. All right, and honestly, this team looks so good. And I have to say it again. Remember, this team is rebuilt around Upset, that so many of these pieces have never come together on a lineup before. Ignar just comes back from Korea, and he's already syncing so well with Upset, and the fact that they have developed so incredibly quickly is a huge testament to Schalke as an organization.
And it's the fact that they have that triad. You know, you look at someone like G2, and they're just so scary because of how powerful the individual pieces are, and it feels like you get this great mixture of Schalke on a roster that no one was really looking at. You have incredible macro and communication. Their vision game is on point, you have great team fighting, and you also have a high mechanical ceiling on so many of their players. And it just feels like this well-oiled machine that Schalke don't really have a lot of weaknesses. They're like a jack of all trades.
I've got you.
Definitely the case. You see D-Lim and Dylan Falco on stage with Abadage. I hopefully give him a pat on the back after an incredible LeBlanc performance. Looks really good from this guy. We heard from him in the first few weeks. He seemed soft-spoken, more reserved, you know, feeling comfortable, feeling confident. And now he just, on stage, he looks like an absolute monster, though. He looks so incredibly crisp.
Yeah, moving over from Fnatic to Schalke, you know, in his shot caller interview, Dylan Falco was quite soft-spoken. You know, he said, I don't put a lot of that emphasis into the PR. So when you think about like the big coaches in the LEC, his name doesn't often come up. But really speaking for itself with how he's able to curate and craft the Schalke roster, he felt like he had a lot of responsibility in picking these pieces and putting it together. And he's done a wonderful job based on the results.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, outside of the coaching staff, we do want to hear who your player of the game is. At LoE Sports on Twitter is the place. Your Kia player of the game. You can choose between Ignar, Abadage, and Upset.
Ooh, that's a tough call.
That is a tough call.
I feel like the game was actually won because of so much solo lane EXP that went to Odo and Abadage, but Upset played so well in those team fights when they threw everything in the kitchen sink to get into the back line.
We'll get more insight. Let's hear more, and their jump
is half empty.
Thank you very much, Dracos. 4-1 for Schalke in the standings here. Great showing from you guys. How was it to prepare to play against a team that usually aims for late game in a stable meta?
I mean, I think we're really stable like in early game, so I'm kind of happy with it. If they don't want to fight us and go to late game, we'll just roll over them. This game.
How did you prepare to with Splice today?
I'm not sure, actually. I didn't have to think that much. I think we just focused on ourselves, like what we actually want to do and what we do best, and I think our early game is like really solid. So we just prepared really well to that side, I think. And they didn't really do that much early game except the gank on top lane, so I thought it wasn't. And then they also fought on Dragon, which was really greedy, so we just punished them. And I just feel like our team is just more calculated and playing really well with each other.
And more carefully maybe, and great showing from your mid laner, especially.
Yeah, Abadage is Faker.
Yeah, and he's Faker.
Yeah, he's really good.
Well, I was going to say, he looks to be one of the most promising mid laners so far, and one of the most promising rookies in the LEC. What do you think about him, except the fact that he's Faker?
I mean, I think in the beginning he was a rookie. He had a lot to learn. But I really like how his mentality, he's really easy to work with, he works really hard, and it's just really fun to work with him. So I definitely see so much potential in him.
As experienced player, how are you guys helping him?
I mean, we're just mostly trying to help him where he should be on the map, like when he's in the lane, and just playing for vision and just teaching him the kind of things that you don't learn from actual games or when you get to LCS, I think it's like definitely learning. So really fast, so I think he's improved a lot.
And we'll see way more from him. Now a bit more about you. You used to be a strong voice last year. Now I know we have Ignar in the team, who's also helping a lot. What is your role within the team right now?
I mostly just focus on the early game. I try to help with communication. I just make sure everyone is on the same page. And then I just have a really great team, like a really great carries, so I just sit back in my chair and I just watch them carry.
Just relax.
I just do what I can and I just try to help on every single aspect of the game.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to see more from you guys. Now we're going to send it back to the analyst desk with Trevor. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Law. Some fantastic questions, and I'm really happy to hear Memento with some fantastic answers as well. Some bold statements there, I might add. Let's dive straight into the game. This was one of the most exciting matches on the docket today. Vedius, take me through the draft and what both Splice and Schalke were aiming to do with the respective team composition.
So I think that they had very clear goals for either side. Schalke going very much towards kind of what we expect. Strong early game, strong kind of jungle support duo that can roam around the map, along with a very powerful mid-game where they can look for explosive team fights. Whereas for Splice, they've gone a little bit more towards the scaling side. It's very strong with terms of team fighting. Their true iron spike is very good as well, but the longer the game goes on, the more success they'll find. The key thing to note is that by going for things like the Aatrox and then getting counterpicked by the LeBlanc, picking the Ornn and then going up against the Ryze, they had two losing matchups. It made it very difficult for them to actually turn a kind of snowball win. They needed needed to wait for the mid game, wait for the late game, so they just needed to keep Schalke at arm's length for as long as humanly possible.
And that's always something that's been incredibly difficult to do. Like, we can see it in what's going to be our first replay coming up here as well. As soon as you try and put Schalke on the back foot, as soon as you force someone like Abadaji back in lane on the LeBlanc, you actually get Schalke just taking the fight to you a lot.
And of course, you've got to give some credit to Splice. They managed to pick up the first 2 early kills on that scaling comp. And this is the replay you were talking about there, Medic. As it looks like Splice has started with the Dragon, Memento comes in first for a cheeky steal, and then a great follow-up of the team fight.
And you heard Memento say it in the interview, it was very much a greedy Dragon. The fact that all of Schalke had just gone back to base and were making this collapse happen, Splice were not in a position to contest. The Ornn wasn't available to join. I believe his ultimate wasn't available either. Sejuani didn't have ulti, and Splice were not in a position to go for this fight. And the reality is they didn't need to. Remember, their win condition is slow Schalke down. Wait to get to a point where you can then bet a team fight. But by giving those kills away, Schalke are now in a position where they have the lead to get better into that mid-game portion where they're so much stronger.
And that's the reason Schalke have been so successful throughout the course of this split as well, is they take the advantage in the early game, but then they use that advantage in the mid-game as well. We saw them getting about a 4,000 gold lead and then forcing fights onto Splice. There's actually a very good fight that they had in the mid lane that really accelerated the game.
I got so nervous because this fight that we're going to bring on the screen, I thought it was turning very badly, but then Abadage, the man of the hour, just stepping up in the second half of the fight. Vedius, take us through it.
And we heard the casters talking about it. Splice really tried very hard to get on top of Upset. They really wanted to try and kill him as quickly as possible because he's one of the main damage dealers, but there was too much peel in front of him. Vizichachi wasn't involved in the fight, and while the CC was there, the damage wasn't. And this allowed Schalke to then get the re-engage. That long chip damage, the amount of ability in their composition as well, allowed them to just kind of split Splice apart and use their strong mid-game damage.
And the thing about this is, even if you do kill Upset at the start of the fight, you 2 item rise and a 2 item rise. Yes, maybe you can catch them if you kill that Ezreal, but even if you jump all the way onto that line, you use all of your abilities on him, the rest of the team's going to clean up that fight.
And this is really what nailed the, put the final nail in the coffin, rather.
Nailed the coffin?
Yes, exactly. For this fight, it's a really reason for Schalke to snowball. They just converted into a ban. They can then rush it all through Vegas because they have a really strong 1-3-1. And while we did see a couple of small mistakes from Upset, which made the game a little bit harder to close out, ultimately, once they had that mid-game lead, Schalke had a very good time.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from Schalke. They're conceding a few of those early kills, and then some of the small missteps right at the end, pushing the final inhibitor down. It's not cause for concern, but it is just a few little things you want to brush up, especially if you looked at Upset's reaction after the win. He was shaking his head a little bit, but look, Schalke clearly stepping up. They managed to pick up the win. They go to 4-1, and I can also announce that the key up player of the game was Abadage. He got 50% of the votes. And Schalke a contender for top 2, yes or no?
Yes.
Well, they are top 2, Trevor.
But look, I mean, a little bit more seriously though, the just looked very good. Memento pretty confident in his interview at the end, but the decision making, the laning phase, Ignor can do whatever he wants. It feels like, and he seems to find success. I am excited at how much success he is finding roaming to support Schalke and pushing Schalke into the lead.
I think the big defining game for me for Schalke now is their Misfits matchup. If they can play against Misfits, you play them predominantly through the bottom lane and still have the threat they have coming into the mid game, coming into the mid lane. That's when they'll really define themselves as a top 2 contender.
Yeah, I think Schalke look very good, and I like that our top end is very competitive. I don't even think that this kind of game Splice out.
Yeah.
I just think that the way in which the comps play, like a single mistake, well, 2, the Dragon then into the team fight is ultimately what lost the game for Splice. But I think that they, in a best of 3 or best of 5, this could have been very competitive. So I still think we have a strong top end. I still think that there's a lot of the split left to go, but right now, Schalke is definitely in my top 2.
It's very exciting to see, and I'm very hopeful for the later stages of the split once teams start to work out these little mistakes in their play. All right, let's turn our attention to the next game. Fnatic are 0-4, and in the last place here in the LEC. What is happening with our back-to-back 2018 champions, Fnatic? We will talk a little bit more as they face off against Rogue right after this.
Right now, back in the game. We'll see a little bit of regrets to the mid lane. Nice use the Dark Blade. Oh, Way's gonna have to use the ultimate, but stunned up under tower. So they can't get another advantage. Memento, is this the turn? Are they gonna be able to take this one? Odo Omni now coming in to clean up house and taking down the Olaf, but they can't get anything else because Abadage is out for blood.
blood. The flash forward from Ignar. Humanoid desperate to get something back.
Yeah.
I'm okay, I'm okay. I'm left, I'm left.
I got into this one. Let's play with Ezra. Play with hitting power.
They are going to take down Splice and move up to 4-1 in the standings. Your turret has been destroyed.
A vital decision. Trickling dry.
What are you doing? I love you. Thank you so much.
Substing, that is magical.
I'm absolutely livid.
Shut down.
way on earth, there's absolutely no way that teams that have just played the World's Final, that have gone the furthest of any Western team ever, there's no way we're supposed to be at the bottom of the ranking. Like, for God's sake, we just played the World's Final. So, from a mechanical perspective, from a gameplay perspective, all sort of things, these sort of things, like, there's no way we're that far behind. We just have to figure out what on earth is going on, fix it, get back on track, get back where we belong.
Say for sure that this year I need to step up. It's probably about time I got back on the high horse and just played a couple of Tristana games.
Welcome back to our coverage of the LEC Spring Split. Fnatic were the undisputed best team in Europe last year, but they are rapidly falling from grace. As you just heard from Broxah and Reckless, a 0-4 record to start the split. The alarm bells are well and truly ringing. It is deafeningly loud. We've heard many, many, many times, and Broxah just said as well, the world finalists is 0-4. They need to stop the future. What's going on? Various. What's wrong with Fnatic? I mean, how do they fix it?
A lot of the themes today about the identity. I feel that to me, what it means is that success was by playing.
Temper the following statement, the fact that I believe Fnatic can bounce back. I have a lot of faith in the organization. They have proven it time and time again here in the European League of Legends professional scene. But I would be remiss if I were not to say I am disappointed that with 4/5 of that roster, with Young Bucks still at the helm, I'm a little disappointed at how slow this team has started, because my expectation